This is an audiobook titled The Art of Absolute Reality, Book 4 by Brendan James Franchina. The grandeur of the shining light extending from the center of the universe, powerfully extending infinitely from the innermost self, in the innermost core of the total light, of the total love, ascertains its infinite oneness experience with Prime Creator, as the perfect oneness of the presence of love, as the consistent creation evolving in the infinite completion, as the creative soul juice of the infinite point of awareness, on a journey without distance in the energetically linked eternal moment of now, as the singular object, for we are who we have been expecting. God cannot do for you what you will not do for yourself, for you are God, and one, for you are the eternal flame of consciousness, of the total light, of Prime Creator. Reality is a total abstraction from individuality that is cut off from Prime Creator and each other, and does not suffer from scarcity, sin, guilt, or fear. It is the total state of total perfection, of the knowing of the inner knowledge of the inner workings of the soul. The mind and body then become faithful servants to the memory of God and the understanding and knowingness of the unified plane of consciousness, and in so you receive the essence of heaven as the one being of the universal light and beingness of total light and total love. The total light of the total love in the one mind of Prime Creator, manifesting the utopian world of perfect oneness and perfect love, stemming from the innermost self as the total core of the peace and love of the all-seeing light, in the unity of all giving all, to have all, of the infinite giving that creates the infinite receiving, as the only solution to the only problem of a cry for love is the answer given, and the loneliness fades, as the knowingness and understanding of the thought system of total love, which dissolves all of the thoughts of fear and separation from Prime Creator. The ploded plosion of infinite completion plodes the highest plosion of the highest clarity of the perfect oneness and perfect love into the wholeness of the fullness of the total light, in the total love stemming from the center of the universe, and begins to consistently plode as the one mind radio wave, and ascertains an infinite oneness experience with Prime Creator as the total core, and reaches the innermost self, and flows the universal stream of universal awareness of the light of this world, energetically linked to the healing currents of cosmic consciousness, and solves the tiny mad idea of separation from God and each other, as the divine communion of the conversation with heaven on earth. The grandeur of the shining light extending from the center of the universe, powerfully extending infinitely from the innermost self, in the innermost core of the total light, of the total love, ascertains its infinite oneness experience with Prime Creator as the perfect oneness of the presence of love, as a consistent creation evolving in the infinite completion, as the creative soul juice of the infinite point of awareness, on a journey without distance in the energetically linked eternal moment of now. We are in a new cycle in heaven that has been the evolution of consciousness to the progression through the caveman mind, to the tribal mind, to the ego mind, to the divine manifestation of the holy presence of Prime Creator, of the fullness of light, eternal flame of consciousness, of the universal beingness, eternal truth, of the eternal life reality experience in the infinite completion, as the infinite point of awareness, as the eternal flow, of the eternal isness of the journey without distance in the energetically linked, eternal moment of now, perfection of the one holy instant that lasted forever and forevermore. Vernacular can't take you further than images, for all images hold shape and content, and all content holds shape of an image, and words, or vernacular, are extension of the symbols of those images which create the mind. But the mind's eye is what then? More than a pregnant thought? More than a birthing into the most lucid understanding of what is all but mere simplicity's flow? In truth, all we can say, that reality is isness or flow. We are all flowing down the universal stream of universal consciousness as the perfect oneness and perfect love of the radio waves of the one mind in the unified plane of existence, in the eternal life force current in the innermost core of the innermost self, having an infinite oneness experience with Prime Creator, who is on a journey without distance in the energetically linked eternal moment of now, as the infinite completion, as the infinite point of awareness, reality experience of the holy bliss, of the divine source truth of the universal consciousness, opening the universal chakra, showering down the awareness that everything is consciousness in holy light truth awareness. Sonic boom into the astral realm, to the healing spice of the cosmic currents of eternal life, and breathe it into your soul and allow it to reach your innermost core of the total consciousness of the energetically linked eternal moment of now, as your universal stream of universal consciousness opens the universal chakra, showering down the peace, love and joy of the bliss of the presence of Prime Creator on a journey without distance in the infinite completion as the infinite point of awareness. On a journey without distance in the infinite completion as the infinite point of awareness, the eternal life force current plods as it ascertains its treasure beyond measure of the eternal life experience of the eternal moment of now. Once you have had an out-of-body experience, you then know and understand that the whole entire physical universe and body is in the mind's eye and not the other way around. And so these higher spiritual realms of the universal consciousness of the mind's eye needs the third dimensional vibration for a vehicle of experience. For in the higher realms there is only knowing. So the point of reincarnation is to work away at eliminating the lower self and the mask in the third dimension, so that the cycle of birth and death can be transcended, and all that is left is a utopian society in the energetically linked eternal absolute reality of eternal life. When we are ready to accept that the body is in the mind, we can then embrace the fullness of light reality experience which is the total loving presence of Prime Creator, and forever see Him in the astral plane, in the mind's eye of the mind being energetically linked to the body and whole entire physical universe, being an infinite oneness expression of the infinite oneness experience, with Prime Creator as we become gods, co-creating with Prime Creator as our healed and loved mastermind realities that always are perfect expressions of perfect oneness and perfect love in the unified plane of existence. Energy time dilation trips are not black holes nor multiverses. We live in a supersymmetry universe, and there is nothing else, and nowhere else to be but in the conscious attention of energy flow as the infinite point of awareness, in the infinite completion of every possible possibility as fact, in the infinite innermost self, in the innermost being of the total light of Prime Creator, as the energetically linked eternal moment of now, who is the universal chakra of our universal stream of universal consciousness, that is a God of a utopian society, that is the total love in our hearts, of the universal curriculum of the expression of the infinite characteristics of love in the eternal moment of now, flowing as the energetically linked eternal life experience of an eternal flame of God as the infinite oneness experience with Prime Creator, with the power that never goes out. We are in the energetically linked eternal moment of now, as the perfect oneness and perfect love of the fortuitous, gratuitous perfection of the presence of Prime Creator, who is on a journey without distance in the energetically linked eternal moment of now, who is the answer to the eternal crux, as the eternal flux of the infinite completion, as the infinite point of awareness that does not heal the body of magic or the physical outer world, because they are not true or real, but rather the awesome Creator heals the miracle mind into its oneness perfection, and therefore allows utopia to emerge. Oh, the spice of the currents of eternal life are all permeating as the infinite completion, as we power up the infinite point of awareness into the healing force, unblocking spiritual knots in the psyche, bringing the fullness of light reality experience into our total beingness of the perfection of perfect oneness and perfect love. The self-knowledge of wordless words inspire us to the wordless world in the levelless level of the essence of the eternal life force current that sustains eternal life in the balance of the certainty of the infinite completion as the infinite point of awareness, as the eternal life force current flows through the universe, for gratuitously ascertaining an infinite oneness experience with Prime Creator, who is showering down the universal bliss as the peace of God in the harmonious flow of the positive mind control of the auric field of the energetically linked eternal moment of now, in the perfect oneness and perfect love of the power of the flow of the all-flowing currents of eternal life, bringing the fullness of light into the mind's eye, entertaining the emotional body. The theory of everything being 1 + 1 = 1 in the energetically linked eternal moment of now, is also the algorithm to everything, as it is wholeness in what appears subjective, which is symbolic for perfect oneness and perfect love as a manifestation of the absolute reality driver, for building foundations in the mind and healing the dualistically geared false idea and thought about humanity's delusion, fantasy, personality belief, which in reality there are no personalities of separate selves with exiled and isolated minds to higher expansions of consciousness that is symbolic of a perfect circle and the sacred geometry of Mathematica, of the flower of life, is open door to the eternal flame of the Son of God, as the Son of God that is on a journey without distance, in the infinite completion as the infinite point of awareness, consciously creating its reality tunnel, with synergy of harmony, that is learning to consciously create an enlightened planetary civilization. The ancient sacred energies of the rhythm and flow of the total love, extending from the center of the universe, showers us with the eternal life force current of the infinite completion of absolute bliss, orchestrating the notes on sound, raising the collective vibration into the ineffable. Does the need for the telepathic imagery with Prime Creator show us the divine communion of the message of our higher self? The eternal life force current of the one mind of light, extending from the center of the universe, of the total love of the presence of Prime Creator, shines its light into the mind's eye of the welcoming of the presence of the Divine Creator, as we, the light, extend its love wholly and completely into the song and dance of the love mastermind around the sacred heart jewel. We connect to the energy grid of the energetically linked eternal moment of now, in the universal stream of universal consciousness, and sit happily, allowing the thoughts of the holy divine communion to flow. The holy sacred rhythm and flow of the ancient blessed life of perfect oneness and perfect love shares itself to strengthen the connection to the memory of the presence of the Divine Creator. The healing energies of the higher consciousness blesses the lower realms with the showering of universal light as it unblocks the block to heaven on earth. We shine the energy essence into the mind, body and spirit of the absolute reality into the free-flowing life that unties the spiritual knots of the tiny mad idea of separation from the Divine Creator and each other. We unite in the holy glory of the bliss of the freedom of the limitless outlook of the infinite possibilities, in the infinite completion of the fullness of light, reality experience. The eternal life force current plodes the plotoplosion of infinite completion as the infinite point of awareness while ascertaining the infinite oneness experience with Prime Creator, who is the energetically linked eternal moment of now, on a journey without distance as a holy of holies and perfect oneness and perfect love of the unified plane of the universal consciousness as the infinite characteristics of love in the many facets of the expression of the fullness of light, as the common bond in the underlying current of a curriculum of universal love, of the questionless question about a dichotomyless dichotomy, of total abstraction meaningfully expressed as non-specifics translation, frontier of consciousness, flow of the soul currents, that sustains eternal life as the soul currents of the sense organs of the soul, speak the effortless flow of the one stream of one universal consciousness, in the total oneness of the voice of love, light, and joy, and truth. So now, we conclude the journey. What was proved was that A. Man has a spirit, and B. that the whole entire physical universe and body is in the mind's eye and not the other way around, therefore proving the illusion-delusion of classical physics and 99% of the dualistically geared thought system of the world, of sin, guilt and fear and individuality, of separation from Prime Creator and each other, was just a schizophrenic nightmare of a wish for the unreal to be true.